It wasn't the kind of laugh that came from joy. It was the cruel kind, the kind that leaves an echo in your chest long after the sound has faded. When Anna stood in the dim garage of her late husband's family home, surrounded by people who had never truly welcomed her, she felt the sting of humiliation as her in-laws smirked and handed her the keys. A rust bucket for a rusted marriage, her sister-in-law chuckled, tossing the keys carelessly into Anna's hand. "This is all that's left for you. Don't say we didn't give you anything." The van sat there in the corner of the garage, brown with rust, paint peeling, the kind of vehicle that looked like it belonged in a junkyard. To them, it was a joke, a way to remind Anna she was never really family. Anna forced a tight smile, though her heart was breaking. She had been married to Michael for 12 years before tragedy stole him away. His death had been sudden, a car accident on a rainy night. And the grief still pressed on her like a weight she couldn't shake. Instead of offering her compassion, his family had turned cold, blaming her silently for a loss no one could control. Now, in the division of his family's estate, they gave her nothing but this van. It wasn't just an old van. It was their laughter that cut deepest. They laughed because they thought they were sending her away empty-handed. They laughed because they believed she was powerless. But life has a way of hiding treasures where no one thinks to look. Anna's days after the funeral were lonely. She had no children, and her small job at the local diner barely covered rent. The van, though ugly and unreliable, became her only real possession. She parked it outside her tiny apartment, its rusty frame sticking out against the newer cars. People stared. Kids pointed. She pretended not to notice. Every time she slid behind the wheel, she whispered to herself, "I'll be okay, Michael. Somehow, I'll be okay." But the van wasn't kind to her. It broke down constantly. The brakes squealed, the engine coughed, and she often found herself stranded on the side of the road with greasy hands after trying to fix it. Once, she nearly lost her job when the van refused to start on a morning shift. The in-laws? They heard about her struggles and laughed louder. Her brother-in-law even joked at a family gathering Anna wasn't invited to, guessed that van's giving her more headaches than memories. She wanted to hate them. She wanted to scream at the unfairness. But deep down, Anna carried something they didn't. One evening, after another breakdown on a deserted stretch of road, Anna kicked the side of the van in frustration. Her foot struck a dent, and the metal clanged differently than usual, hollow, almost like striking a bell. Curious, she crouched and tapped again. The sound was strange, not like rusted metal at all. Her heart raced. She climbed into the back, flashlight in hand, inspecting the floorboards. Some panels looked newer, as though someone had welded them on recently. With trembling fingers, she pried at the edge. The metal gave way, revealing a hidden compartment beneath. What she saw took her breath away. Inside was not junk, but bars. Gold bars. Stacked neatly, carefully, as if someone had hidden them away for safekeeping. There were dozens, maybe more than she could count in that moment. She sat there stunned, her flashlight trembling in her hand, the reality crashing over her. Her in-laws had laughed. They had mocked. They had given her what they thought was worthless. But Michael, her late husband, had left her a legacy greater than anything they could have imagined. Tears spilled down her face as she realized the truth. Michael had been secretive sometimes about money. He had grown up in a wealthy family but never flaunted it. He always said he wanted her to feel safe, cared for, even if the world turned against her. This was his final gift. Not the rusted van. Not the humiliation. But the gold hidden inside. Still, Anna faced a dilemma. Gold of that amount wasn't something you could just walk into a bank with. She worried about theft, about the wrong people finding out. And she knew, if her in-laws discovered the truth, they would stop at nothing to take it from her. The weeks that followed were filled with sleepless nights. She researched, quietly, how to convert gold to cash without attracting suspicion. She spoke in whispers to trusted contacts, always careful. She even considered selling just one bar at a time, slowly building her life back. But challenges came swiftly. Her landlord noticed her late rent and threatened eviction. The diner cut her hours, leaving her barely enough to buy food. On top of it all, the van itself nearly gave out, smoke pouring from under the hood one morning. She laughed bitterly, thinking, the van is worth millions, and yet I can't even afford a proper repair. And then came the biggest test. One afternoon, her sister-in-law showed up unexpectedly. She leaned on the van, smirking. "Still driving this pile of junk? You should have sold it for scrap months ago. Bet you could barely get $100 to smile. It gets me where I need to go." Her sister-in-law laughed, the same cruel laugh from the garage. But Anna stayed calm. She had a secret now. A secret that gave her strength. Over the next year, Anna's life slowly transformed. She managed to sell a single gold bar discreetly, enough to pay off her debts and move into a modest but cozy house. She kept working at the diner, never flaunting her new security, because she knew greed destroyed people. Instead of spending recklessly, Anna invested. She helped struggling neighbors, paid for a friend's medical bills, donated to the local food bank. She remembered Michael's words. "Be kind, always.